Hello again, everyone! Scoons Comics here with another exciting, oh so thrilling, comic book haul! Yes! Hi! How you guys doing? I'm back in front of the camera. My glorious self. Ugh. So yeah, those of you that watched sat through my 3-part Death of Superman series, and now I'm done talking about it. So, on to other things. There was a local comic book show here. And again, I'm in the Midwest, and this local show comes 2-3 times a year. And they travel throughout the Midwest, and this is comic book collectors. I feel like a lot of people now, when they think about comic book conventions, they think about these big, giant San Diego Comic-Con affairs, C2E2 affairs, where it's wall-to-wall people and costumes and celebrities and, cooler people than I grew up with reading comic books. Those people still exist. They still exist in mass, and they are at these comic book conventions. It's always just in a room at a hotel, like a conference room, or maybe at most a ballroom, but usually like a big conference room. And it's just 9 dealers, maybe, and comic books. That's it. Maybe some random DVDs. That's it. No cosplay, no nothing. And it is frequented by the exact people you think it's frequented by myself, and then by your stereotypical 1990s Simpsons comic book guy fan, right? And we're all there for the same thing. We're all there for cheaper comic books, and we're there, that's it, just books, just comics. We need comics. We don't need all this fluff, just this books. So we go. Got there 10 a.m. right when they opened, and the place was pretty crowded, Like, I'm still rocking the mask. Everybody's got their masks on. Most people. Never mind. But you're digging. You can always find lots of great deals here. You either find lots of great deals or you find nothing, okay? So I came to this thing with a little bit more money than normal because, by God, the government gave us stimulus checks. And so I had a few more dollars than normal. And I said, I'm going to look for a couple key, for me, not hundreds and hundreds of dollars of books, but some nicer books, right? And of course, I couldn't find anything that was on my list that I wanted like that. So it was very much just grab bag. Like, what am I going to find today? I'm just going to dig and we'll see what I get. And I got this. This isn't even all of them. Like, I've got a bunch of stuff that are just run filler books that, nothing exciting to even show. But at least I can kind of make conversation out of these. And I found a whole section of books that this is why you dig. Because you never know what you're going to find. You got to do the work. And I'll get to that here. So, the very first table I went to, again, I've talked about the show before. This main guy that sells there has just like 30 long boxes, more than that. 45 long boxes, and it's all super cheap. 25-cent books, 50 books for like 20 bucks. I don't know, it's all super cheap, right? So you just grab and you go and you go and you go. No one ever looks up. Everyone's eyes are down, you're just digging, right? So the very first box, I found a book and I chuckled, and I've seen this book probably 9,000 times, and I never picked it up and bought it. But I said, you know what, for like 20 cents, I think this needs to be in my collection, and today's the day. And that is Marvel's team up with the NFL Super Pro #1. This is a terrible promotion with the NFL where they created a superhero. Enough said. They threw Spider-Man on the cover to try to get people to buy it. It's garbage, but I always see it. And I said, you know what? I need at least one copy. So there's that. And then my man Chuck Dixon, who I love his writing. I grew up reading all of his stuff, his Robin run, his Detective Comics stuff. Love it. It's great. He wrote like 9 trillion DC comic miniseries that I never knew existed. They just missed me. And one of my least favorite characters in comics is Man-Bat. I hate Man-Bat. See, it's like Batman, but reversed. He's Man-Bat. I don't care. I don't care. But Chuck Dixon did a 3-issue miniseries, and I said, well, if anyone's going to make me care, it'll be Chuck Dixon. Man-Bat #1. I didn't like this art, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it, and we'll see how it goes. And Man-Bat #2. Again, if these were not 20 cents a piece, I would not have picked them up, but 20 cents, a complete story, okay, I'll give it a shot. Then here's another oddity I had to pick. So I'm showing you the oddities and random stuff I picked up. Then I'm going to show you some really amazing stuff I pulled out of a dollar box. That is unbelievable. Boy, before the Avengers were the Avengers and the most popular thing on the planet, they had a terrible show on Fox Kids called Avengers. United We Stand. They stand? United They Stand. Terrible, terrible lineup of characters. You got Ant-Man, Hawkeye, Wonder Man, Wasp, Scarlet Witch. Oh, it's a bad show. I remember this show. And I found the first issue and it made me chuckle. And I was like, yes. When people are always talking about how great the Avengers are, I'll always remember this. This is the Avengers. This made me laugh. Then I picked up 2 copies of this book because it's a concept I really enjoy for a character. It's kind of I'm speculating a little bit here, but I really wanted to read the book, and I grabbed 2 copies. This is Stealth #1 from Image Comics. Came out last year, I think. I got a bad glare. Ooh. Oh well. Stealth #1. This is superhero, African-American gentleman who's in his 50s, early 60s, I think, and he's suffering from Alzheimer's. So he has these fantastic powers from some kind of alien source, but he's losing his grip on reality. Really interesting, and the first issue is really good. So I picked up, they had 2 copies there in the 20-cent bin, so I picked those up. So I look forward to trying to find the rest of the series. I really enjoyed the first issue. And then, okay, so I said I'm done with the Superman stuff. So my attention turns to Batman and the Nightfall series I read as a kid, which I really loved. And now, okay, so here's Detective Comics Nightfall Part 6, Detective Comics 661, the newsstand edition. See, it's got the cool date right there. I'm not hardcore seeking this out yet, but you know, I found one for 20 cents. Okay, I'll grab it. Then I was really excited for this one. The only second print I found all day, and I was looking. Detective Comics 659, Nightfall Part 2, second print, Roman numeral 2. Kelly Jones cover. I remember I got this comic book, I think I got it in an Easter basket when I was a kid. So I'm happy to get second prints. I'm not jumping all the way in yet, but if I find things, I'll pick them up. Boy, speaking of jumping in, I looked all day for my glorious DC Universe variant comics. I usually have a pretty good look at these shows. It's a lot of cheap books. I think I tore through everyone's books, and I found one. Superman 103. Really good Dan Jurgens cover here, but only one DC Universe logo variant. One is better than none. I'll take it. And then I picked this one up strictly because I liked the cover. And I could picture myself seeing it on the newsstand. It's the newsstand edition. And it did exactly what a comic book cover is supposed to do. It made you want to pick it up and read it and buy it. Daredevil 269, John Romita Jr. art, featuring Daredevil fighting X-Men villains, Pyro and the Blob. I just like this visual. It's such a strange mix of characters. Daredevil doesn't often mix it up with these people. So it made me want to read it. It's got that, it's a barcode, newsstand edition, and for a second, I could travel through time and go when this was on the newsstand and say, yeah, I'd buy this. So I brought it home. I think it's a really good cover, right? All right, so I finished with like the main books where sometimes I can get hundreds of books, and I got a small stack, and I was really happy with it. Like I spent $40. No, I spent $20 because I got 40 books. And the guy's like, you can get 50 for the same price. I'm like, nah, I have, no. I don't need 10 random comics just to try to fill. Like, I have enough of an addiction as it is. So then I'm tearing through everybody's books, everybody's bins. I'm just not finding stuff I wanted, man. Like, I'm always looking for stuff, and nothing I needed for my runs, nothing I needed to complete sets, nothing I was just wanting. I just couldn't find stuff, which was a bummer, you know? And then there was one random dealer. They didn't have a lot of wall books at this show, right? Like, by that I mean, you know, the dealer puts out their big expensive books behind them on like some shelving, and they're like, ooh, look at this first appearance of Gambit or whatever. Not a lot of those. Like 3 dealers out of the 9 or 10 had that. So one dealer had some more high-end books in bins, big sign, Gold Age, Silver Age, and those were being tore after by some hardcore collectors, right? And I saw underneath the table they had a couple bins, 3 long boxes of dollar comics. Okay, I am not an in shape individual right now. COVID has been made me eat all the food. That's the unfortunate side effect of 2020 into 2021. Not in shape, but I squatted myself down and around a pole to get to these dollar comics. So I'm at this really awkward position and my muscles are feeling it. I'm terribly out of shape. So I go through the first box. It's exactly the kind of dollar fare you'd think. Stuff from the 2000s, stuff from the 90s. The second box, the same thing. The third box, there was a guy standing between me and the third box. So I just see legs and this third box. And he must have been there a while, and he was just chatting with the dealer. You know, somebody just wants to be there and chat and talk about stuff. Right on, great. But you're in my way. He was in my way, and I would have just probably left it, but I saw this book sticking out. Like, I'll do it like this. So I see this, right? So I'm like, okay, well, there's a Bronze Age Avengers book in this dollar bin. What's in here? So I snake around this guy, and I hear the dealer say, like, oh, no one's gone through that box all day yet. And the convention's like 3 hours old at this point. I'm like, oh, geez, no one's been here. So I dig it out, and it's Avengers 156. And it's in really nice shape. I mean, it's not mint, but it's, you know, VG Plus. Really nice looking book. A Bronze Age 1970s Marvel comic for $1. You have my attention. So I'm tearing through this box, and it's stuff unbagged. Like, this was not bagged or boarded. This was just loose. And a lot of the books were just loose. And I found some amazing stuff. And there's probably better stuff in there, but I'll get to that in a second. Because this guy would not move, so I'm around this guy's legs. But anyway, there was also Avengers 163 for $1. Web of Spider-Man number 20. This is one of those Marvel 25th anniversary covers. So that was really cool. And then there was, and that's newsstand edition, didn't even notice that. Then there was Uncanny X-Men 211, which I think is the first appearance of the Marauders. But again, 25th anniversary cover. I'm starting to pick these things up. I love these 25th anniversary covers because they're so 80s, right? Like the Bronze Age books and the Silver Age books that I love are so colorful. Colors just pop, and you put them in Mylar because they look so vibrant and great. 80s, this dull gray background. The colors are all just kind of muted. I mean, it still looks great, but it's very much a product of its time. This is a 1980s comic book. Great Wolverine cover, though. So I'm like finding this stuff for $1. Then I found the only issue of Amazing Spider-Man there that I could find, but still, Amazing Spider-Man 165 for $1. None of these are keys. None of these are going to feature like characters thinking a movie or anything like that. But I mean, for comic book collectors, this is amazing, right? So I'm pulling these things out. Great Western book here, Rawhide Kid 118. That's gorgeous cover. Oh my gosh. Then I found this one. A nice key comic that I did not have. It's not in the best shape, but for $1, yes. First issue special number 8. First appearance of the Warlord. Mike Grell's Warlord. Book I've wanted for a long time but didn't want to spend any money on. I was just hoping for this scenario where I'd be crouched and my thigh muscles would be burning because I was in a weird position. And I found this. I was like, oh my gosh, what is in here for $1? So I'm thumbing, again, none of these are bagged and boarded. The books I've shown so far, none of them are bagged and boarded. So I'm trying to like flip through and make sure like it's complete, like not a big page ripped out or like crayon or something, but they all look fine. Then I found almost an entire run of John Carter, Whirler to Mars. I already had the first issue, so I left that, and that was a little more torched than the rest, so I already had that one. But I almost have my entire run complete. Here's issue 4, John Carter. I love John Carter, Whirler to Mars. What a cool comic. Bronze Age Marvel, man. Number 5. I'm gonna go through these kind of quick. It's already getting lengthy in this video for me. Number 9. Got some keys coming up here. Here's 14. And 15, I like this, John Carter, Warlord of Earth. They put Earth over there. Then 16, all for $1. All for this. Now here was the first big key. John Carter, Whirler to Mars, number 18. This is Frank Miller's first Marvel work. The first thing he ever drew cover or pencils for interior pages is this comic book right here. You know, not a huge key, but for $1, what a great find. And then the last issue of the series, number 28. And then, God, this annual looks so good. Ah, from 1978, King Size Annual, number 2. Look at that. I cleaned these up a little bit. I took, cleaned up some scuff marks and some just dirt, grime. But it looks so good. And then the last thing was published after that, issue 28, the annual still had to come out. So this was the last of the John Carter run, annual number 3. And I thought I had the whole thing then with what I already had at my home. I was missing issue 26. Somehow I missed it. I don't know how I missed it, but I marked off that I had it and I did not. So I had to go buy it off eBay. I spent more on the book for eBay. It wasn't not much, but I spent more than that than I did on like all those books combined. Crazy, but I had to have it. If I was one common book short, that would have driven me insane. So now it's in the mail. It'll be here soon. It's going to be okay. And then last in that bin, I found, again, I'm not a big sword and sorcery person, but for $1, I mean, Red Sonja number 5, Red Sonja number 4, Red Sonja number 3, Red Sonja number 2, and yeah, believe it or not, Red Sonja number 1. Iconic cheesecake cover. Every Marvel history book you'll ever read, this book is going to be featured in there. It's just, if you're a Bronze Age collector, you want this. It's not super valuable, but it's a key comic. For $1. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And I brought all that up. I emerged from the ground, my poor leg muscle shaking, because again, I am terribly out of shape. And a couple of guys are standing there waiting to go through the dollar books, and they see what I've bought, and they're like, oh my gosh. I hear the guy behind me like, oh my gosh. And I walk away, pay my money, walk away. And I got halfway around that room and I thought to myself, you know, I should just go back. Because I was not finding any of the big dollar books I wanted to spend. So again, I had some cash. Like, I should just go back and ask that guy how much he wants for the box. Because I'm sure I missed stuff. And there was stuff in there that was good. I'm just going to buy this box. And I went back, it was gone. One of those two guys bought that box in the 2 minutes that I was gone. Can you believe it? But I got the good stuff, man. I cherry picked that thing. It's amazing. This is what you dig, people. You dig at half-price books. You dig at antique malls. You dig, you dig, you dig. And you're going to come up short a lot. But sometimes you'll find some goodies. And that's what I got. That's this week's haul, everybody. Everybody be safe, be well, take care, and I will see you all next time.